Hey, what's up, y'all? It is freezing outside, and we're not going fishing anytime soon. I went muskie fishing last week and my feet almost froze off. So we're gonna take a little break, and in the meantime, I'm gonna answer y'all's questions about my kayak. You've been writing me here and there and asking me what kind of system I use. So I wanted to make a quick video here about my kayak system. First and foremost, this is a FeelFree Lure 11.5 version 2. I love this kayak. I got it about 5 years ago. It has served me in so many ways I can't even explain. I've spent an amazing amount of time on this kayak over the years. I wish I actually knew how much time I'd spent on it. And I got this kayak primarily for 2 reasons. Number one, the seat. It's one of the best seats in the game, and we'll go into that in a second. And number two, the wheel and the keel system. This kayak is one of the only kayaks I could ever find that had a wheel built into it. And that's important because I don't want to drag a bunch of wheels around with me everywhere I go, the bigger sets. And it just helps me get around on the boat launch. It helps me get my boat off the kayak trailer to the launch. Sometimes I have to walk it. It's just a massively useful thing instead of having to drag my kayak around. I just love it. I have this kayak on a Malone MicroSport trailer. I love this trailer. I mean, it kind of revolutionized everything for me to actually get a trailer. I used to throw my kayak into the back of my Honda Element and drive around with my back hatch open, which after a while just becomes not acceptable. I mean, especially in the wintertime when there's cold air everywhere. This is my dog Peaches also, by the way. I love this trailer because it's so lightweight that I can actually pick it up and move it around. If I mess up on the boat launch, or if I mess up at, turning it around, I can actually just get back here. I'm not gonna do it right now, but I can pick this trailer right up and move it, like physically pull it one way or the other to straighten it out. I've gotten a lot better with the trailer over the years, but at first it was so useful to be able to hop out and just physically move it with my own hands. As you can see up front, I have a spare tire. I mean, you'd be insane not to have a spare tire. And right here, I have this box. I bought this box this year because I was having, problems with storage, honestly, in my car. My car was getting so full of stuff. And I threw all my stuff for changing tires, my jack, my tire iron, various locks for the kayak, just various things get thrown in here. And when we travel long distances, I throw my life jacket in there. I just put a lot of junk in this box. I have to say, though, the only disadvantage to this box is that you actually have to move the kayak over to access it. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it is kind of a pain sometimes. But I love the box, and I wouldn't have the trailer without the box after getting the box. The best seat in the game, guys. This seat goes up, comes down extremely easily. It's so comfortable. It dries out fast. I never have a wet butt sitting on this thing. I rarely keep it up in the up position, but I do when I'm musky fishing. I do when I'm trying to sight fish. I honestly like being flush with my kayak. I don't feel like I'm as tilty, and that's across the board on all kayaks. I've actually not bought certain kayaks because their seat is permanently stuck up, and I don't like being so top heavy, if you know what I mean. So I like it in the down position, to be honest. I don't really keep it up a lot, but lately with musky fishing and any kind of sight fishing where I need to be up and see, I like to keep it up. But so comfortable. I spend, like I said, hours and hours and hours in this kayak. So, to have a comfortable seat is paramount, right? So you can see I got my Yak Attack cup holder. I have this thing covered in Yak Attack accessories. I love the company Yak Attack. They make a bunch of cool stuff for your kayak. They're just awesome. Also, guys, excuse all the noise. There's renovations going on all over my neighborhood. And for some reason, the second I started making this video, everyone wants to start hammering and nailing and also driving by my house. When all this morning, it was dead silent out here. One of the most important things on this kayak is my crate. This is just a basic milk carton crate from a supermarket. I've seen these things on Amazon for like 40 bucks. I just went to the supermarket and asked them, and they gave me a milk crate. You can put everything in here, guys. I strapped on some rod holders to the back with zip ties. I got a bunch of bungee cord, carabiner type things to strap things in. Got all my rods in here. I got my net set up in here. I mean, it just serves a lot of purposes for me. And I don't know how people keep organized without it. And on my MicroSport trailer, I have these V-wings. They're perfect. I've had these for years and they've given me zero problems. I do have the cam straps pulled out of them right now for the video to make it look nicer, but usually cam straps just wrap around. It's super easy to put the kayak in here. These things have been abused and abused and abused, put on highways, over bumps, I mean, just crazy stuff, and they're still holding together. So I highly recommend these V-Wings for top of your car or your trailer. Y'all, I have this thing covered in rails. I have added a ton of extra Yak Attack stuff. I put a rail up here for my Anchor Wizard, and I don't know if you saw an earlier video, but in the earlier video, I had actually moved my Anchor Wizard from the back of the boat to the front of the boat. And it has made a revolutionary difference in my fishing, because now when I anchor in rivers, I face upstream and I can fish upstream instead of the anchor coming off the back and fishing, you know, between all my fishing rods off the back. So that was a game changer. And also, I mean, we might as well talk about the Anchor Wizard. If you have a kayak, I don't know how you don't have this thing. This is, I mean, it's an amazing system. It works like a charm. It's lightweight. I mean, I just have a 3-pound anchor on there, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but a 3-pound anchor really holds you in position. I put tape all around mine so that the grappling hook doesn't come out and, I don't know, get stuck on things. I'd rather prefer just having it closed, but you can do whatever you want. But this thing is awesome, man. Look at that. Boom. Drops down. You turn it like that to lock the, you know, lock the string here, and then boom, wheel it back up. It's that easy. I mean, I know guys that even have these on both sides of the boat, or you can do a anchor trolley down the side. I just kind of like having it in one spot because I do multiple forms of anchoring, as many of you have seen in my videos. And I guess it takes us into this now. This is my really awesome new grapple anchor. This is like a $15 thing, but I bought this for inshore fishing so I could grapple onto the brush, or when I'm musky fishing, I can grapple onto a stump that's sticking out of the water and just kind of quickly anchor without dropping my anchor and make a lot of noise. Or I can have 2 points of contact and like really keep my boat straight. I have my phone holder attached to a rail here, which is awesome because I can see my phone at all times and keep in touch with my family and whatnot. But I can also take really quick fish pictures. You know, when I catch a fish, hold it up, boom. It's all right here. And while it's on there, it has a tether lock on it. This little tether deal here is also holding my phone to the phone clip, so there's no way I'm going to lose my phone. If any of you guys have ever dropped a phone over the boat, you know the pain of that. And I don't know, this is like $20. A simple $20 thing can keep that thing attached to you at least. On both sides of my boat, I have these like little, I guess you call them, I don't know, tie down points, but I put these here so that when I use my clip anchor, I can quickly just tie off to something and hold it there and get some tautness in my line, if that makes sense. I haven't really found another use for these little cleats, if you will. I don't know really what to call them, tie downs, cleats, but they're pretty awesome, and they make using my clip anchor really easy. Oh my goodness, I have my net. I usually don't keep it back there. I kind of did it just for the video, but usually I keep my net right here on the front of this boat. There's tons of room for it. It's the Yak Attack. I forget the name of this exact net, but I will put it in the description. But this Yak Attack net is awesome, y'all. I can use it from my kayak so easy because it has this leverage point to it. So when I'm in the boat fighting a fish, I can keep my rod arm up, you know, holding the rod, and like just grab this net real quick, hang on to it, boom. Scoop it up. It works extremely well. It also bends in half for easy storage, and a lot of times I honestly have it bent in half right here and just kind of chilling right there. One of the most important pieces of gear you can have on your boat is a pull strap. Now, I've lost my original pull strap that came with this kayak, but I've just made this out of a cam strap, and it should be a little longer so I can do the whole, wrap it around myself. I'm gonna actually make another one for this next season. But recently I've just been using this cam strap just to yank my kayak around. It's pretty useful thing. So you don't have to bend over, drag your kayak from your knees, essentially. Back here I have an extra rod holder. It's always a nice thing to have. The kayak actually has 2 rod holders in it. I use them all the time, but to have as many rod holders as possible is always useful, because when you're in the heat of the moment, just throwing them into this or throwing them into this is super effective. And I just have this one because I can actually move it around the boat. I can put the rod holder on the front of the boat. If I'm fishing with bait, I can see the rod jumping. I can put it on the back of the boat and just have an extra holder, or do it for trolling. It's just really cool, and it's a Yak Attack. And it's, I mean, super tough thing. I've had this thing for years as well. This kayak has a spot where you can put a rudder in on the back, pre-made. It also has plumbed like rudder line holes. I don't know exactly what those are called, but there's tubes running through this kayak, so it makes it really easy to install your own rudder because the lines are already run for you. So that is a huge plus for this kayak. And you guys might think this is silly, but I have a couple things inside my kayak that might seem a bit overkill. Oh, and by the way, there's tons of space in this kayak to store stuff. I've even stored rods all the way down the length of it. But inside my kayak, I keep this in the wintertime at all times. I call it a get warm kit. So if I were to fall off this kayak in the middle of the winter muskie fishing, I would die. I'm so little, I have 0 body fat. I would just wither away. I would have hypothermia almost immediately. But I have this bag on me, so if I were to fall, I get out of the water, pull myself up. I can take my wet clothes off, rip this thing open, and pull out like an Adidas jumpsuit that's not cotton. Throw it on. I have hand warmers and some fresh socks, a towel, a ratty towel it may be, but it will dry me off pretty quickly. And where is that solar blanket? Oh yeah. I have one of those little silver solar blankets on me as well. So I highly recommend it if you go fishing in the wintertime. Get yourself a get warm kit, because you never know if you fall off the boat how awful that would be. So just taking a little time to prepare and make this little kit and stow it in your boat can, I mean, save the whole trip or even save your life. Also in my haul, as you guys have seen in multiple of my videos, I have a $15 emergency paddle. Guys, I can't tell you how many times this has saved me. Over and over and over again. I'm clumsy. I drop my paddle off the boat, or I'll be fishing and not paying attention and my paddle falls off the boat, and you see it in the background just floating away. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this thing, other than using my hands to paddle off the side of the boat to get me back to my paddle. So guys, get yourself one of these. They're awesome, super cheap. They fold right down, very durable, and I just stick it in my kayak. It's pretty awesome. And over here, I have a double-headed Yak Attack paddle holder. I used to have the single-headed with the Roto Grip paddle holder, and it was on one of these rails right here. It kept it too close inside the boat, so it was always getting in my way, so I bought this, and it has revolutionized things for me. It keeps my paddle off the boat, holds it more securely, and just keeps it out of my way completely, and I love this thing. This is one of my favorite upgrades over the years. So this kayak, it has a hole through the hull. And essentially it comes with a pod for electronics and whatnot, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But I like to stick cameras through it to make videos with and have underwater footage. You can get a motor and put it in here. You can get a pedal drive and put it in here. It has just various uses. I mean, it's awesome. And I think more kayaks should do this, to have the hole through the hole. It's a tongue twister, but it just comes in so useful. It's amazing. And I'll show you guys the pod here in a second. This kayak's covered in handles. It's awesome. It has a handle back here, a handle here. It has some elastic here, and I have used this elastic to use my spike anchor when I'm fishing inshore, to stick my spike anchor through and put it in the mud and hold myself in place. It works like a charm, and I don't know what they bolted this to the kayak with, but this thing has been abused over the years, and it is made primarily for a paddle holder. See, on the side of this kayak, it's hard to see, but there's a groove here so you can put your paddle here and snap it in with this guy right here, and boom, you got a paddle holder. I like my Yak Attack holder, but if you didn't want to buy one, there's one right here. Also, guys, I wanted to show you all this pod from FeelFree. It comes with the kayak, which is awesome. And what I did with mine is I store my electronics on top of it, and I put a battery inside, and as you can see, I've mounted my transducer in a very creative, kind of, iffy way here, but it's worked for years. And I use this thing all the time. You just snap it on in. It works like a charm. And I wish more kayak companies would do it. A lot do, but a lot don't. And it's just nice to not have to mount my transducer inside the kayak or have one of these crazy things that come off the side. It's nice to have this option, and obviously I will be doing some crazy things with electronics off the side of my kayak in the future if I were to get a pedal drive or motor or whatever. But for now, it's nice to be able to snap this thing in here. Boom, I have electronics right in front of me, and I've come to value electronics so much over the last few years, particularly with lake fishing. I also wanted to show you guys my camera systems and how I actually mount them. And, you know, I've told you earlier in the video, I put all these rails everywhere. Primarily, I mean, a lot of it's for cameras. And these Yak Attack mounts and these Yak Attack booms that twist are just awesome. Boom, boom. There's one camera, I can twist it. I run them off auxiliary power so they don't overheat as much. And, you know, I snap another guy back here. And that's how I film everything, you know. I have my cameras just floating off the sides. And I just can't say enough how much I love these Yak Attack booms that twist. It makes it so easy for me to level the camera. I have this little guy up here, I can just loosen this, boom. I can move the camera all over the place and like just quickly level it. And I don't know if you've seen a lot of my earlier videos, but there's a lot of unlevel shots because I wasn't using this kind of system yet. So it really revolutionized everything for me to, you know, put some money into getting some booms, and they're just great. And they easily fit on these rails with their little nubs that stick up, and it's just a great system. And I'm glad that there's, you know, a company out there thinking about also filming these adventures instead of just thinking about like, oh, a cup holder, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's just nice that Yak Attack actually thinks about this stuff too, because there's a lot of content creators out there that need this stuff. Y'all, hopefully I was able to explain this kayak system to you accurately and help you all figure out a way to get yourself a system, or maybe mod the system you currently have. I mean, you can do so much with so little, guys. I used to have this little $100 blue kayak that I screwed rails into, put cup holders on, rod holders, all kinds of stuff. And, you know, I made my fishing vision happen with that. And now I've upgraded to this. And, you know, it fits my needs perfectly at this point. I love it. And it gets me out there to make videos and go on adventures. So y'all, get yourself a kayak. They're amazing. They take you where bass boats cannot go. And they're just the best. So I hope I helped you guys. When it warms up again, we're gonna make some more videos with this kayak and put out some more adventures for you to watch. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.